Hello, I'm Greg Hrutkay Mods, and I felt like I needed to film this disclaimer after it's taken me 3 days to actually film this. This video is me trying to get Tahoe Beta 1 to run on a 2019 iMac, which I just got in the mail 3 days ago. It's taken me 3 days to film this, and it goes as well as the Mac Mini video for the T2. This doesn't have a T2, and it should work. And it doesn't. In fact, OpenCore doesn't like to work at all on it. And I figured that out the hard way in this video, so stick around. Alright, so you guys remember my 2013 iMac right here, right? Meet my 2019 iMac, the 4K Retina 21.5 inch. So yes, hi, I'm Greg Hrutkay Mods, and welcome to another kitchen video where we're testing the beta version of Tahoe on systems. This was the last system that Apple dropped that didn't have a T2 in it. And in theory, this should work. There's really no reason why they should have dropped it, because it's got the same hardware in it as a Mac Mini 2018 model, but it also has this similar graphics to like a 2019 Mac Pro. So in theory, it should just work fine since the OS doesn't actually need a T2. So in today's video, we're going to figure out if it will run Tahoe, and if it does, will it have acceleration. First, we need to install OCLP, which this is the most recent version, which still doesn't officially support this system, so we may have to play a little hackery here to make it work properly, but I think it will work. So let's install it. Okay, so now in OCLP, we need to find a supported system that's similar to this, which would probably be the last iMac that was supported on this. Let's go with, say, the 18,1. Return, build, install, SSD. Okay, now we restart it into OCLP. Alright, let's choose OCLP here and go back into Sequoia and see if it boots up. Well, needless to say, that didn't work. Okay, so the system refuses to boot when it's patched to an iMac 19,2. It also refuses to boot an 18,1. I'm going to try an 18,2 and a few other iMac versions to see if it will boot. Alright, let's try the 16,2, which is a 2015 4K. Well, I don't think the 2015 flash worked either, which is annoying. Well, the 2015 flash didn't work, but I did finally get it to boot in the unsupported 2019 flash. I don't think it removes the platform checks, but we can try it and see what happens. Alright, we're back on Mr. Macintosh's site. Links in the description. There, it's downloading the beta installer right now, and we'll see what happens once it does that. Alright. Oh? I was actually not expecting that. Oh? Well, I'm a little shocked. I don't know if it was still allowing me to boot into it, but we'll see if it actually just works. It'd be pretty cool if it did. Well, we're about 20 minutes into installing. If this just works, I'm going to be shocked because it will literally just work. You'll just have to choose, enable the supported systems, do the flash, and then just run the installer in the OS. At least for now. Later on, it will be actually a supported system. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, it's still installing. We'll see what goes on. Actually, hey, that was good timing. Let's restart it. Well, it's still updating. We'll see what happens. Well, I just came back into the room, and the screen is black, and it's not doing anything. So the system will not verbose mode. and OpenCore refuses to work again. The second it starts booting into the finishing installing, it just goes black and it's done. So luckily we still have Sequoia on here, so we're going to try a few more patches and see what happens. Alright, we're back to normal mode. As we can see here, it's not compatible again. We're going to try to flash this to like a MacBook Pro or something and see if that makes it work, because the iMac flashes I never seem to have success with, but maybe a MacBook flash would work. I don't think I can get this spoofed to a supported system to get it to boot. I do have one more idea, but I'm getting this feeling it's not going to work. And say hello to my 2011 mini server. This is the oldest system I've tried to do the beta on, and I'm thinking if I target disk mode this after it's all set up, the other system might just boot right into it with the regular OpenCore patches. Maybe it's something to do with the installer setting up. So we're going to see. Alright, it's installing onto that Mini, and say hello to the Mini Tower of Power there. And we will see what happens. It has taken a very long time to get to 6 minutes remaining on this thing. And this is running an SSD and a quad core with 8 gigs of RAM. Wow, this is slow. Alright, we got the 2011 server running here. Let's see if it will get to the desktop, and then we will plug it into target disk mode and see where we go from there. Well, the first boot up, the Thunderbolt dock worked great. This boot up, nothing. So we're just going to plug it in and pray it goes to the desktop. Well, the beta has enabled File Vault, and I don't think I can boot off a File Vault restricted system. Of course. I just wasted all that time because, well, it's got File Vault on it, so it won't see the drive. I wonder if there's a way around it. We'll see. This is the only system I have right now with Thunderbolt and an SSD in it. And I have to be able to log into it to disable File Vault. And so far I'm batting, it's just not working. It's booting up again. Let's see if it works this time. Well, I have ruined the install that I had functioning on this system to try this, and I have no access whatsoever to it. So now I've got to do this on another Mac, and the biggest problem is I don't think I have any other systems with an SSD in it right now. And as you can see, it's not frozen. It's blinking. It just told me if you're having problems installing. Yeah. So apparently after the first boot up, the 2011 shut their Thunderbolt port off. I'm so mad right now. So this probably won't work. I'm trying to figure out which one is my 2.3. 2012 right now. I should really mark these, but I am going to move the SSD from this to that and see if that allows me to boot into the File Vault encrypted system. The thing is, I don't think it will, because I think it's actually locked to the hardware when it's encrypted. I'm going to have to reinstall all this all over again, aren't I? Okay, so here's the question. Do I try to install it on the hard drive so I don't have to transfer all the crap over from this system here? Or do I transfer the crap over and find out it doesn't work? This time I'm going to make sure File Vault is disabled. So I remembered my 2.3's got a problem. It won't fully install. You have to image the image over. And then it hit me. I can unlock the File Vault drive. In recovery, I can copy it over, and in theory it will work. It's going to be on a hard drive, but that might fix it. And now we wait. Oh boy. So do I start screaming now, or... Well, now that I've corrupted 2 nice complete installs, let's pull out my other 2012 Mini and just do it the old-fashioned way and reinstall everything all over again. You know, I'm doing all this and I still don't know if this is going to actually work. Here's the system I tried to get the T2 to boot with. It's still booting. It's been booting for like 2 minutes. Oh, dear Lord, help me. Another 2 minutes in, it's still loading. I think the hard drive has nuked itself. Oh. So yeah, I didn't want to have to do Mac Mini surgery for this video. I'm going to remove the SSD from this to that, and then I guess cleanly install everything again. And this video is taking a lot longer than I wanted it to. I figured I'd have this done in like, I don't know, 30 minutes. Yeah. Well, how about that? The 2012 actually boots off the 2011 drive and actually works. Well, maybe. Uh-oh. Now I'm getting angry again. Well, I can boot into recovery and type in my password and it works. But when I actually boot into the OS, it doesn't take my password and it's asking for a recovery key that doesn't exist. I also figured out that it's working without the Thunderbolt dock. The USB's working. That's weird. I mean, I can actually type, and I'm not using a Thunderbolt dock. This doesn't have anything plugged into it. I'm still going to have to wipe the drive. So, it's a few hours later, and I just installed Tahoe onto this SSD. I got it to boot one time. Yeah, it's... It's still trying to boot, I think, but it's so painfully slow, I don't know if it's going to. But I think I figured out why the USB was working. And basically it was because OpenCore set up the KDK patches on the 2011. When I updated this again with this 2012, it didn't do the KDK patches. So, yeah, it didn't have any USB support again. And now it won't boot. So, it looks like I might be reinstalling this again. Yay. And as I was about to give up, hey, look, it actually is doing something. So, that's cool. Let's try to get this thing to automatically go to the desktop, and then we'll plug it into the iMac and just pray it works. Alright, it looks like it is iMac time. So first problem I'm noticing is I can't get this thing to reliably boot with the supported OpenCore again. So we've got to fix that first. Good news is I can actually see the drive this time without having to type in any passwords or anything. It's showing up right there, and that's so I actually know which one to choose. So we're going to try to fix OpenCore again, and if we can get it to boot into OpenCore, we might be able to get it to boot off of that. So let's see. It still doesn't show up. Yeah, this is getting old. Restarted it, and hey, look! Okay, so it still doesn't. I guess it didn't change the name because that's definitely the external drive. We'll do verbose mode, enter. And it does jack crap. Just to make sure I'm not going wacko, I'm going to try to boot my 2013 with this just to see if it actually boots. Alright, we're back on the 2013. I'm going to try to get it to boot. Okay, so maybe I'm not crazy because this doesn't want to boot either. It panics out right now. Yeah. And then it just restarts. It's getting worse. So I'm starting to think that Apple has disabled external drive booting. I've actually gotten this thing to almost boot, but it still will not boot. So, yeah, thank you, Apple. Well, it has gotten further on the 2019 than it did the 2013, I think. I'm really not sure. It hasn't reset. But, it's still not very useful. Okay, at this point, I am shocked. I don't know why this thing is not doing what it needs to do. I figured this would be really easy, and it hasn't been. And it makes no sense because this should work. I'm going to see if there's a nightly build. I've got a feeling there isn't. Well, here is the platform support plist. I might be able to modify it. I don't know. I'm running out of ideas at this point. All right, so we added everything into it. There is the Mac there. And I also added the board ID in. Copy it back over to the Mac Mini and see if it would just boot without OpenCore. Well, I restored the iMac back to complete factory default settings. I'm going to do OpenCore one more time because I've got an idea that might fix it. Alright, so now we're going to try to spoof it, which I've never had success at doing, but, well, we're going to try it, make it think it's a supported iMac, and see if it will work. Oh, it was a thought, but still nothing. It's in verbose mode right now. You see anything? I don't know why it doesn't work. OpenCore even worked on the T2 Mini. It would allow you to at least boot into it, usually. This allowed me to boot into it like twice. And I've completely wiped the whole drive this time, and it's still doing it. I don't understand. Alright, we're on day 3. I've completely restored this for the 3rd time now. And we are going to try doing this one last time. I'm just having problems, I think, with OpenCore. So I'm not really sure why. And it's still detecting that it's running a different Mac. It's not doing anything right now. It's not even on there anymore. See if it actually lets me patch it this time. It did. It didn't the last like 4 times I restarted it. I tried everything. I even tried to boot it off of the other system, and it would refuse to boot. So OpenCore is just not happy. But now we can try this again and see if it will boot up. Complete wipe again, and it refuses to boot up. So I think I'm calling it. OpenCore right now just doesn't like the 2019 iMac, which it should in theory work fine. But it's just a black screen, so go figure. So I've been reading that people have actually gotten this similar hardware to actually boot with Tahoe, but you need the latest version of OpenCore, which is 1.05, I think, which is still in beta, to make it work on Macintoshes. And, well, it looks like 1.0.4, which is what OpenCore is based off of, OCLP. It just doesn't like it on newer hardware. And that's the reason why it keeps locking up. I almost wonder if an older version would maybe at least let it boot up. But I'm done, and this has been such a pain, so oh well. I don't know. I think this is just the look of defeat right here, because I have no clue what to do. It seems like it's a really simple thing to do. I can't figure it out. And so far, from what I've understood, no one else has either. And 2019 iMac should be very, very easy to do. I don't know how to make it work. I've spent a lot of time working on it. I almost feel like the only thing that it needs to be done is OpenCore's nightly build, which hasn't even been released yet, to support the iMac, and it will work. It should be really simple. They've just got to add the machine into it and make it so it will actually boot properly, because I only got OpenCore to boot like twice, 3 times on that system. Otherwise, it would just black screen and not do anything, and I have no clue why. I tried. I wanted to be the first to get it to work. I'm not going to be the first, probably. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I've tried everything I could possibly think to do to make it work. And needless to say, I can't make it work. So right now I've got a iMac that I don't know what to do with other than upgrade. We will be doing an upgrade on it very soon. And hopefully I'll get to be one of the first people to run Tahoe on it. And I think it will just work, because I've been looking into it, and a lot of people with Macintoshes and stuff have already gotten that specific GPU to work fine. That's why I figured it would just work. I think it will just work, but I can't get it to work. So, yeah, another failed attempt. But hey, I hope you guys at least had fun watching me trying to not, lose my mind. Because, yeah, it's been a time. But anyway, that's the end of today's video. And don't forget, I do have a Patreon and memberships if you'd like to join. Links in the end of the video, in the description, all that stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please do. And that's the end of today's video. This has been a Hrutkay Mods video.